morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time you are listening to today's Life After Hurt podcast with yours truly, Nicole and Sweeney. We are officially on episode number 45 entitled Ghetto, Hot, Entanglement, Mess. Yes, this week's episode gets so messy. If you have not checked out last week's episode, Ride or Die Friend, episode 45, make sure you go and check it out so that the story makes sense. So we are on episode 45, and we have one more episode left, y'all. I can't believe it's been 45 weeks. Next week is the last episode, and you don't want to miss out. Any episodes that you did miss, go back and watch it on my YouTube page or check me out on Buzzsprout. So after Journee punches Khase in the face, things go left, literally. So they are outside arguing 2 o'clock in the morning, and they are very, very loud. So the neighbor comes out onto the porch and yells out to Khase, Gracie, Journee, and Izzy that she is calling the cops. She literally screamed, "I called the cops. They are on their way." So there must have been so much commotion going on between Journee, Khase, Izzy, and Gracie that the neighbor called the cops on them. Yes, she called the cops on them. So Journee in that moment whispered to herself, "Journee, great. This was not supposed to go down like this." In a split second, she made a decision, and it was not for the best. So the cops arrived. 3 cops arrived, actually. 2 cops and a sergeant. And the officer that did approach Journee was a short, stocky guy, but he was a very, very strong officer. So he asked Journee what happened, and Journee told him everything that happened in that moment. The sergeant was there too, but the sergeant was speaking with Khase and Gracie. When he was speaking to Khase and Gracie, he really didn't believe the story that they were telling him because it just wasn't adding up. And so the sergeant was basically not trying to hear what Khase was saying. So since Journee had been staying there with Khase, her belongings were there, right? She was a recent college graduate. She didn't have a job, a car. She had literally nothing. So her stuff was upstairs, and she had to go and retrieve her clothing items, some of them. 2 officers had to escort her to get her clothes. Journee was so humiliated. She felt so betrayed in that moment, and she was highly upset because she felt like no one was listening to her. So that is actually all I'm going to share with you all on today's podcast episode entitled Ghetto, Hot, Entanglement, Mess, episode 45. So make sure you guys tune in next week because next week is the last episode. I can't believe it. It's been 45 weeks, going on 46 weeks next week. And we are coming to a close with this part of Life After Hurt. And today's affirmation is, even at your lowest, God still has your back. No matter what season or what space you might find yourself in life, whether you have a job or no job, whether you're single or in a relationship, whether you are looking for a better employment opportunity, whether or not you have money in a bank account or not, God still has your back. When we are at our lowest, sometimes we expect our friends and our family to be there for us, and sometimes they aren't. And that's a very disappointing feeling. But who knows who always has our back? And that is God. God will never leave us nor forsake us. And He is always there for us, no matter what the situation is, whether it's a mess we created or it's a mess that we were just a part of, just being in relationship with individuals. So know that even at your lowest, God still has your back. All right, guys. Make sure you have a great rest of the morning, afternoon, or evening, whatever time you are listening to today's podcast episode. And I will check you guys out next week. And remember that God is proud of you. Bye.